What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back, Dating Tribe. Coach Nate here. Thanks for watching an episode on the Dating Insights Lab. And today I wanted to talk about social calibration, how it's important, why it's important, kind of what it means, and how to get better at it, which will improve drastically your dating life and your ability to meet people in person. So let's dive in. So first thing, it's not like I Googled this, but I'm going to define it as just your overall ability to interact socially. This can translate to online or in person. Not really limited there, but probably where it's going to come across real heavy is in person. So if you go to a party that a friend of a friend is having, because you're kind of remotely invited, maybe off Facebook event or whatever, this is going to be your overall ability to interact, especially with strangers in a new situation. For some people, this gives heavy anxiety. I totally understand that and can relate to that. But what you're probably thinking is, man, what a huge opportunity it would be for me to be able to interact well and easily in that situation. So that is how I'm going to help you now. From a dating standpoint, one of the reasons that I'm definitely including it in here is there's a strong correlation with people that have a high amount of social calibration you find it very easy to interact in a dating scenario, right? They can walk up to women and talk to them easily, blah, 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 blah. And it doesn't even have to be women, obviously. And the other way around, if you're socially uncalibrated, the more into that side of the spectrum you are, probably the harder it is for you to find dating partners, especially that are higher quality. You know, when you have that low calibration, you keep running into like really negative people and people that have maybe a lot of kids and stuff like that. I'm not trying to bag on the moms out there or something, but it's just you're kind of left scratching your head all the time. Why am I always attracting people that seem to be like lower quality and what I don't want? And it may very well have something to do with the way that you come across, which i.e. is your social calibration. So let's get into a little bit of how to fix it. And one of the biggest ways to do that is to be positive and outgoing. Now, maybe you're not really good at being outgoing, and that's something you've got to work on. Not going to really cover it here too much, but you can be a more positive person in your overall promenades. So what I mean by that is if you're talking to somebody new and, these conversations can be a little lame at first. Oh, well, what do you do? Something like that. If you come across as positive and like, oh, that's really cool. Tell me more about what you do, your job or whatever. What's it like day to day? Is it a grind or do you really love it? If you're asking those kind of open-ended questions and you're positive about it, even if the job stinks, if somebody tells you, oh, well, I'm a janitor, well, no reason, number one, don't judge them in your mind. And number two, don't bag on them or whatever. Be like, oh, well, is there some rewarding part of it? Like, let's say they're a school janitor. Do they get to be around kids all the time in the education? Like, I don't know. Just if you overall try to be positive, that comes across as very socially calibrated, and it's also going to add to your general likability points, so dating will come easier. Now, another thing, and I'm going to do it right now, is to smile a lot. Socially calibrated people, again, are usually more positive, and when you smile a lot, you don't have to have like the crazy Joker smile by any means, but if you have like kind of a positive outlook, a nice smile that's like kind of like, hey, it makes you much warmer, much more approachable to the people around you, whether they know you already or whether they just met you. It's much more approachable, much more calibrated, and smiles can be very contagious. So you doing that, it's going to make the overall party more friendly and more engaging, and it's like a positive thing washing over you and your life and everybody rather than the negative, which kind of goes in the other direction, right? So I am saying smile a lot and have that whatever of like, oh, I'm warm and inviting and I want to know more. Trust me, it's subconscious, which it is said about 80% of our human interaction in general, 80% of it is subconscious, where the 20, or how I should say, subconscious, body language, nonverbal, or only 20% of that communication is truly verbal. You know, people pay attention a lot more to how you're acting as a person and if you're having fun, rather than, you know, what you actually said. And it could come across, use me as an example. So if I just sat here and was like, well, in order to be more socially calibrated, you need to smile more and you need to do this. And maybe this is public speaking 101, I get it. But if you're having a little trouble with your dating life or that social calibration piece, there's a reason that you're here. So I want you to learn. So obviously I'm going to be more outgoing and I tried to be more engaging with you so that you take something away from the video. So I hope that you can translate that into your interaction. Another powerful piece about social interaction, and maybe it could translate back into something I talked about before of being more outgoing, is to ask questions about them and their life and their career. So the socially uncalibrated person, somebody tells them that they work as a janitor, the socially uncalibrated is just like, oh, cool. And then they kind of go like really internal in their thoughts and the conversation gets awkward and they shut down, right? And the other person's just like, okay, well, it was nice to meet you. And then they go talk to somebody more interesting. Instead, if you flip that on its head and somebody says, hey, I'm a janitor, be like, oh, well, hey, that's cool, man. That actually sounds like it's pretty tough work. Like, does it give you some reward? Do you really like being there? Get more engaging and ask the open questions. That's going to force the other person to open up. And the more you can get other people to talk about themselves, the more they're going to like you. And I know this because I'm a sales manager by day. I kind of use that technique on clients all day long. I try to get them to talk about what they did on the weekend and their personal lives and how things with their families are, to get them open up so that they welcome me kind of in their world. So for my work day to day, I have to be highly socially calibrated in order that people will buy things from me. And so this also, again, it works well at, social events and parties, and you can translate it well online too. If you look at a dating profile and you see that somebody is really into art, let's say that's all they say, right? Very vague. I'm very into art. Well, art can be anything. It can be music, it can be paintings, it can be whatever. So that might be something that you message them, right? And you're like, hey, well, I liked your profile. Says that you're really into art. Tell me a little more about that. Like, is it music? Is it paintings? Like, do you like to hang around the art scene in museums? Like, what is that? And a lot of time you're going to get a reply back about that specific subject matter that you sent the message out about, right? So why? Because it's highly socially calibrated. And most of the time, socially calibrated people are safe, fun to be around, and they make good dating prospects, which if you're watching this, that's what you're trying to become. So what's nice too is I think in practice, literally when you're on the scene of, maybe a party before or any kind of event, you can actually step back a little bit when you're in a situation, ask yourself, the next thing I'm going to say, is it socially calibrated or not? I think that's powerful. Does it help me get to my goal of getting to know this person a little bit better, finding more about them, right? So that's a powerful tool for you to take to the bank and put in your toolbox. And what this stuff does is it makes it much easier for you to meet people organically. And I really like the organic approach. One thing I like to say to clients when they're working on me one-on-one is come from a place of, if I woke up single today, right? If I woke up single today and in my house or whatever, and with my same career, just I didn't have a wife, how would I approach it? I actually don't even know if I would ever join a dating app, because I like the organic approach of just meeting people and being out in the world and finding dating prospects maybe the regular old-fashioned way than I do so much as trying to do the online dance, if you will. So I don't even know if I would want or need a dating profile, just because I know what I know, and I, for the most part, I really like myself. I really like Nate. And so I think of myself as a high-value dating prospect, and that's going to translate into me just kind of going out wanting to find more about the people that I run into, and the relationships are naturally and organically going to grow, right? So it's much easier when you are socially calibrated. It's much easier to meet people in that way and from that standpoint. So you can meet them at a party, then you find them on Facebook, right? Because whoever invited you on Facebook is probably friends with them. You can then friend them, and then you can kind of, start a DM conversation like, hey, that party was fun last night. It was cool to meet you, and the organic conversation goes from there into maybe meeting up for some reason, something like that. So I say all that to say, if you can work on and adjust your social calibration, meeting cool new people, even as friends, meeting them organically becomes much easier. And that stuff is really tough to do, especially if you're over the age of 25, you've been out of high school for a few years. Everybody's kind of settled down into their lives, careers, and kids, and all that. So it can be tough to meet cool new friends, depending on the situation. And this will definitely help you do that along with your dating process. So one thing I want to touch on too is most of the advice in this video translates really well to first date tips. What I mean by that is, if you go out on the date, let's say you are online dating and you convince somebody in the DMs to go out on an in-person date with you, great for you. A lot of those tips about open-ended questions, getting somebody to open up about themselves, keeping that conversation going, not letting it become awkward with those open-ended questions, that can really help you in a first date scenario as well. So that the conversation doesn't just go quiet and awkward and you're not. If you're a little outgoing and you're wanting to know more about them, typically that comes off, again, it's very socially calibrated, but it also helps stop that first date from getting stopped up and kind of weird. And again, if you're getting, if you're across the table from somebody, getting them to open up and talk about themselves is a very powerful tool to get them to like you. So if you're on the date for a little while and they seem like somebody that legitimately you will want to go out with, another powerful tool in your toolbox. So keep these in mind when you go out on a first date, because that can really help you as well. So thank you, my friends, for watching. I'd invite you to become a member of the Dating Tribe. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, where I try to do at least one of these every week. Just increase your dating game, get you better at it, and get you to the dating goals that you have in mind. My name is Nate. I'm a dating coach for men, and I actually have been helping women as well, but specialize in people that are over the age of 25 looking to get into long-term happy relationships. You can visit me at my website, pattersoncoachingwny.com. That's got all my contact there. If you want to reach out right now with a quick message to me, easiest way to do that is my email, which is pattersoncoachingwny@gmail.com. Again, I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to see how I can help you. And I also kind of specialize in preventing people from breaking up and getting into toxic relationships, and specialize in helping people not get divorced. You know what I mean? We don't want to get married in the first place if we think it's going to end in divorce, right? Or something bad like that. I really love helping people vet their dating prospects rather than just going into the bedroom or whatever the other coaches are talking about. So I legitimately want to help you. It drives me to get out of bed every morning. We'll have fun doing it. We'll make your dating process fun, as long as you have an open mind. So again, I'm Coach Nate. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.